Next, we are going to have one of our state coordinators from Colorado who has been with us for, I think, the entire decade, and he gets on our webinars every single week that we have with our Nationwide Leadership Council. Please welcome with me Randy Corporon.
Hey, everybody. I'm from Colorado, as you heard. How many? I see you, Betty. Thank you. How many other people from Colorado? Do we have anybody? All right. Well, it takes only a couple of dedicated patriots to start a movement, right? I do a Saturday morning radio show in Denver called Wake Up with Randy Corporon, where I am Denver's only live, local, conservative Saturday morning show. And the folks on my station who come on after me in the morning weren't real happy when I started saying that sort of thing. So we actually had it out with management, and management said, you know what? He's right. So I continue to do that. What is it like to be standing here right now and realize that before there was a capital, before there was a revolution, this actually was a swamp? Isn't that funny how it changes? They've grassed over and built up on top of the swamp, and yet the stench just permeates up. But that's what we're here for, right? We are going to drain the swamp. Let me tell you about what's going on in Colorado. We lost every statewide every statewide election last year. We've got Democrats in control of everything. Taxes have gone up. We passed the worst, most onerous, least protective of due process red flag bill in the country, and it's going to take enforcement. It's going to be enforced starting January the 1st. Well, let me tell you what happened in response to that. We have sheriffs around Colorado who have taken the lead and said, I am declaring a sanctuary county against enforcement of the red flag. People are turning out in mass numbers for red flag education classes and to meet with these different sheriffs and to encourage others to enforce their oath to the Constitution and not pass these man-made laws that don't pass muster any way you look at them. On Labor Day, Michelle Malkin lives in our state, and on Labor Day, oh, you've heard of her. Couple days before Labor Day, she and I were talking, and we were talking about what happened in July 12th in Aurora, Colorado, when a group of radical leftists went to an ICE facility, an ICE detention facility, and tore down the American flag, burned it, tore down the Blue Lives Matter flag, and hoisted the Mexican flag up on this ICE facility's front yard. And the local police did absolutely nothing. So Michelle and I were talking a couple days before Labor Day. She's got this great new book out called Open Borders, Inc. Encourage you to get it. It's a heavy read because it's packed with a lot of information. But part of her book rollout is she's doing the Stand with ICE tours. And her first scheduled one was in Maryland, where she had almost 1,000 people turn out. Yep, some folks that were there. 1,000 people turn out to show law enforcement and the men and women who enforce the laws that are made right here that we stand with them, that we are not going to be silent anymore. And so we talked about it, and she said, I know we've only got a couple days, but it's Labor Day. What do you think we could do if we maybe did an early Stand with ICE rally, kind of a practice run? So I went to work, and on 2 days' notice, we had 200 patriots show up in front of that ICE facility to stand with ICE. Tom Tancredo was there. You heard of him. The red flag sheriff I mentioned, Weld County Sheriff Steve Reams was there. And great speakers, great patriots, and about 20 radical leftists showed up. They had a bullhorn with a blasting siren. They blasted it so you couldn't hear the speakers. They blasted it right in front of the line of Aurora police officers that were there to supposedly keep the peace. One woman tried to hit Michelle Malkin with a sign. Came within about a quarter inch of that cop's front of his face. He didn't even blink or flinch, man. I'm not messing with that guy, I can tell you for sure. And as Tom Tancredo was leaving, carrying his Betsy Ross flag that he flies proudly at home, he was walking out, and all of a sudden, got tugged back, and he turned around, and it was a police officer. And he turned around and looked at the police officer, and the police officer said, "Get that effing flag out of my face." I'm sorry, keep that effing flag out of my face. So that spurred us to action. I'm a lawyer in Denver, and I decided to go ahead and represent Tom Tancredo and Michelle Malkin and enforce the law against disturbing the peace, against disrupting a lawful assembly, against obnoxious noises and getting in people's face, and to hold that officer accountable. So I filed a letter of complaint on their behalf. I filed Colorado Open Records requests on our behalf to get their plans. What were your plans to come and protect us? What were your plans on July 12th when you allowed an American flag to be torn down and a Mexican flag to be raised in its place? And we put the pressure on them. Within 2 hours, I had an email from the chief of the police department, and he said, I'd like to talk about this. So Michelle was already out of town, but I went in with Tom Tancredo. We sat down, and to their great credit, the Aurora police, they had the security video up. They had the officers who'd made the decisions on July 12th and made the decision on Labor Day on how to respond to the crowds. They had a city attorney there, and we got into an excellent 2-hour conversation. We saw the video where the flag incident happened, and the wind had actually whipped the flag into the officer's face, and I think it caught him off guard. And so we're giving him kind of a break. I don't like that you'd respond and ever say something like that, but it was a very tense situation. We'll see how that plays out. But to their great credit, the Aurora police chief, for the last 2 weeks since Labor Day, has been on my radio show to talk about how they're going to deal with these situations again. And as we were going through a lot of media coverage on what was going on, as we were going through that whole process, we learned that the radical left in Denver, abolish ICE, Socialists of America, Democrat communists, all these groups are getting together to march on this ICE facility this Saturday. This coming Saturday. They're going to form up at Denver's City Park, march about 8 miles to the ICE facility for another rally. Well, guess who called me? Michelle Malkin. She said, "Man, I am flying all over the country, but don't you think we need to do something on Saturday?" So I've been working crazy on the airplane, walking here on my cell phone, just setting up security and rally, the whole rally situation. And in working carefully with the Aurora police, they are going to put these protesters against the ICE facility at the end of their march about a block and a half from the facility with a wall of police from multiple jurisdictions. Guess where we're going to be? We're going to be right there on the northwest corner of the facility with the facility as a backdrop. We're going to have a stage. We're going to have sound. And my travel plans do not have me back in Colorado on Saturday. So I'm going to try and change that. But if I can't, to replace me as MC, I've got the red flag sheriff from Weld County, Steve Reams, who's going to stand with Michelle Malkin and MC that event if I don't get back there in time. And we are going to have a peaceful rally in support of law enforcement. This is all part of the Stop Socialism, Choose Freedom movement. It's all tied together. What they want to do with our guns, what they want to do with taxes, what they want to do with telling you what to do and how to do it, how to raise your kids, and everything else is all part of the bigger plan to take total control of our lives by having government control every facet of our lives that we can get away with, that they can get away with. And you know what? I wish we had this field full all the way to the George Washington Monument. But here's what listen, it's Thursday, it's afternoon, it's expensive to come here, I get it. But I know some of the people in this crowd and some of the people back here, and each and every one of them does the work of 10, 50, 100 people every single day. My efforts for the Stand With ICE rally on Saturday, even if I can't get back there, is going to include at least 200 or 300 people that are there specifically because I asked them to and told them about it. It's also going to include somebody named Jenny Beth Martin. So I just thought it would be interesting for you to know what's happening in very leftist Colorado as it's trying to head down the Californication road. I'm there. There are a lot of patriots there. We're not going to let it happen. And I just appreciate you guys taking the time, the expense, everything, whatever it took for you to get here. It means the world to Jenny Beth and to all of us who are fighting together to save this country. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you so much, Randy.